Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our class. And let me present to you our module. So I choose to record my discussion um, on our lesson on the lesson for the lesson two, which focuses on the um, evolution of political thought. So basically, I have innovated and upgraded our course syllabi and to meet the required the demand for our PSG on political and social philosophy. So for this unit, we have this module is comprises of 3 units. We have um, we have our unit one as a coverage for midterm. Ngayon, we also have unit two and three for our final term. Let me allow me to share to you our the syllabus for this semester para na may um, rough overview of our subject. Mhm. Right. Akong share ha sa inyo. This will also serve as our guide. No? Transition from one subject to other, one course objective to up to CO3. Okay, I hope klaro sa inyong screens. Demonstrate. Okay, at the end of the course, we need to achieve 3 course outcomes. Number one is demonstrate a comprehensive understanding of the historical foundation and of political and social thought. So, you need to have a historical foundation. Gikan sa classical, padulong sa contemporary. Second, we deal with the application. Apply ethical theories to analyze and resolve contemporary political and social challenges. If going to apply, we need to look into specific siguro mga specific na mga kining specific problems, ethical dilemmas and ethical political challenges, no? And we're able to so we're going to have a debate and written output for us to achieve this course outcome. Third is to communicate political ideas effectively, both oral and written form. Written form refers to your term paper, and your term paper is your final requirement, right? So we no longer have a final exam, but we're going to have a written. We're going to have as your major output ang inyong term paper, and that will serve as your final term exam, as well as you have to defend it in front of your classmates in yung term paper. That would be our final. But for the meantime, let's just have the CO1 for our midterm, and um, maybe we'll see going to have midterm exam or not. Okay, let me present to you the module that I have shared to you since I think that's since last week. Right. Windows. Right, here we go. Okay, ready na? Sige, let's start with our lesson. So, the our Objective here is to identify key characteristics, classical, modern, contemporary political ideologies, and based on this historical transition gikan sa classical to contemporaries, these topics will be used as a basis for the CO2 and for CO3 ng objectives. So of course, you'll be able to, my aim is for you to be able to use and apply and to have relevance of this, to use these theories in real scenario, in real issues, the real um, challenges of our society and politics. So, okay, let's have, for number two objective, compare and contrast these ideologies in terms of their principles, values, and impact on the political system. Critically assess relevance of each ideology, ideology to contemporary political and social issues. So I want you to answer this one first. You answer this. If you define political thought, knowledge checker is not designed for a graded output. This is used for enabling your ideas, your innate ideas on the particular subject. Kung naamoy, you have your prior knowledge of political thought, you write your thought here, and this is, since this is not graded, so siguro you just be confident and be honest on answering these questions. Name two classical political thinkers if you can think of, and what is one major difference between modern or contemporary political thought based on your own understanding of the subject. Okay, overview. Political thought encompasses the idea and theories about politics, governance, justice, and nature of power that have been developed throughout history based on our previous discussions. It serves as a framework for understanding how societies are organized, how power is distributed, and what the purpose of government and laws should be. Political thought is essential for analyzing the philosophical foundations of political system and how they respond to human needs and societal challenges. Question: what is political thought and why is it important? Political thought refers to the study of ideas and principles concerning politics, governance, justice, and the role of the state. It involves critical reflection of concepts. Remember, we're going to deal with concepts like power, authority, freedom, equality, rights, justice, which are fundamental to political life. Political thought is not limited to specific political ideologies, but is an ongoing dialogue about how society should be organized and governed. Okay, the following are the evolution of political thought. Political thought has evolved alongside human civilization, reflecting societal changes, economic development, and shifts in power dynamics. Theories develop in response to specific political social challenges at their times, and the rise of city-state in the ancient Greece. You can still remember about the polis of Aristotle in ancient Greece, and to the globalized world of the 21st century. Now, that's our contemporary issue. No? How to govern this pluralistic world. No? We deal with globalization, how to solve the problem of the global poor, world issue on poverty. We have also a global problem of climate change, which is a very big issue nowadays. What specific principles is applicable and you can say sound, siguro mas sound na argument that can solve the issue of climate change. And can solve the problem of distribution of goods and also responsibilities towards climate change. The question is who should bear the burden, ba? Who should bear the burden? Is it us? Is it everybody has the burden, or maybe those polluters should bear the burdens, and who are considered as polluters? Basically a very scientific question ba, on question who is specific, but It also deals with ethical and political conception question. So for as um, as a start, we need to start from the oldest principle, no? Padulong sa latest. So we're going to start with the classical political thought, which has been discussed thoroughly. Ikan sa to ang um, from previous weeks or previous months. We have Plato and Aristotle. You already know those kanang classical philosophers. So I don't want to kanang to expound it kay kabalo naman mo ana. So we're going to proceed with the medieval to contemporary ato ang focus for this discussion. Medieval. Okay, let's start from medieval political thought. The role of religion and divine authority. During the medieval period, political thought was dominated by religious perspective, particularly within Christian Europe. So Saint Augustine, in his work The City of God, argued that earthly government were necessary to maintain order in a sinful world, but true justice could only be found in heavenly kingdom of God. Now, this is a very universal notion of politics, but a reflection towards um, God's design of a perfect society. But on the other hand, po, no, influenced by Aristotle's work on the politics or iyahang ethics niya concept, which has been expounded as known as the natural law by Saint Thomas Aquinas in his work Summa Theologica, built on yeah, this is also based on a blend, siguro siya, a blend siya of Christian theology or ideologies, Christian beliefs of natural law. That natural law is universal and immutable and perfect and based on on the nature of a person. He is very against he is against same-sex marriage as we can see it. He promoted self-preservation and propagation, which refers to reproduction. The purpose of having a family is for us to reproduce, ba? To protect to protect the human society and also life, no, human life. So with with the notion of same-sex marriage, it become also an issue kay ang it does not promote propagation of same-sex marriage. Of course, they cannot propagate, they cannot procreate. No, biologically, that's for him. That's our very nature for us to propagate. And he also against the concept of masturbation, since masturbation is not an action which promote kanang reproductive organ has its own kining if you're going to treat your reproductive organ as kanang instrumental end, just like what we have in Aristotle, influence man siya ni Aristotle good. So if you're going to treat your body as an instrumental end, that's not a ano, that's not virtue, that's not ethical. So you have to consider yourself as the nature of your physical self, no, um, based on its own function, no? Ang imuhang kuan ba, to the totality of your body, the totality or biological totality of your body should act in accordance with its own nature. So, okay, if you have reproductive organ and it's a young usefulness is for us to propagate, dili kay really used for sensual actions like in animals. Okay. Aquinas argued that rulers must govern according to divine law and moral virtue, and unjust laws not be need not be obeyed. Let's proceed now to the no. So the concern for ilahang magong concept on kanang politics is more reflected on religion and divine authority. But on um when or when Okay. When the during the Enlightenment period and Industrial Revolution, or sorry, Scientific Revolution. Enlightenment refers to scientific revolution. Um, Philosophers now think there should be if no sorry for her ang because of René Descartes in his first philosophy concept that he believed that reason can also be used other than religion or divine authority and divine concepts, natural law. Man itself can create his own thought, can create his own philosophy. So we need from his very famous quote, um, "I think, therefore I am." I forgot the koan. China. I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. Yeah, that's it. Cogito ergo sum. And si René Descartes, I think, therefore I am. That's the I think, therefore I am. That's his translation. That is why he is also considered as the father of modern philosophy or the rationalist philosophers. They consider as rationalist. uh, That he believed that the the beginning of knowledge is that we acknowledge that man think. If we have the capacity of thinking and to reason, there's also we can also create our own concept. We can also conceptualize without having the prior knowledge of what is politics. So diri nag-start silang hubs, no? Nag-start silang hubs, sila and Rousseau, and being influenced by these modern philosophers. Um, okay, now in reflecting with you know, so for our transition gikan sa religion on medieval political thought, we move forward to enlightenment that on the basis of our concept kuno pwede rita we can think of logical very abstract concepts without learning Plato and Aristotle. We're going to leave behind religion. We're going to leave behind kind classical thought. Is there can we create our own concept of politics? Pwede ba daw siya? Yes, pwede. No. So now, we go back to we go back to early modern period Enlightenment. The Enlightenment brought a shift in political thought, changing the divine rights of kings and advocating for reason. Reason daw should be the basis for us to think of an ideal political society, ideal political thought, individual rights and constitutional government. Okay, so we have Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Baron Montesquieu, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. For Hobbes' defense of absolute monarchy was a counterpoint to these liberal ideas, providing justification for the strong and centralized power. But this is more on absolute monarchy is more on ruled by kings and mga monarchs, powerful people, influential men, centered in one person, ruled by one person, known as the Leviathan. Okay. John Locke, on the other hand, John Locke's liberal ideas of governance laid the groundwork for modern democratic states. So this is more on the general consensus, not general will. General consensus refers to majority, but talk about Jean-Jacques Rousseau's general will is the will of everybody. This is not just general will of majority of specific democratic country. This is the general will of not limited to a specific group of people. For Montesquieu advocated for separation of power into legislative, executive, judicial branches, which become now the idea of our contemporary democratic institutions. Yan separate lawmaking body, the kaning the executive branch, which promulgated the policies and laws, the judiciary branch, which lead by you know to balance between law and kanang yeah justice justice system. They rule over justice system of certain kanang society or country. The social contract. Now, I'm going to reflect on these philosophers. The central notion of their philosophy revolves around the concepts of social contract and the state of nature. Now, what are these? The one key of the concept in early modern political thought is social contract, which addresses the individuals, relationship between individuals and political authority. It explores the state of nature, a hypothetical condition where no government exists and how individuals come together to form organized society. So basically, a social contract is a binding contract between individuals for what? Depende, no? So for no, without social contract theory, without the government, without the society, they all believe that we are in a state of nature. However, their concept of state of nature differs from every philosopher. Kang Thomas Hobbes believed that the state of nature was a war of all against all, where life was solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Basically, everybody is insecure. They are all insecure. There is always there is war without the government, and to do the fact that our state of nature of every individual kay dili good. Oh, this is very opposite of Aristotle, di ba? For Aristotle, we have the potentiality of being good. Everybody has the potentiality, and all we need to do is to to exercise our reason, to achieve eudaimonia, and that's it. You'll become good. Para sa iya, ano, he has a negative conception nga ang mga tao gyud is very no we are solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. In Hobbes' view, humans are inherently self-interested and fear of violent death leads them to enter into social contract. Ang ano man, nganong social contract? Because of fear of violent death. We're all afraid of death. Okay, surrendering their individual freedom. We have our absolute freedom in state of nature. I'm going to surrender some of this freedom to a sovereign authority, all known as the Leviathan, in exchange for security and order. Now, Hobbes justified the absolute authority of sovereign to prevent chaos. Now, question: can we, if the authority now tends to become tyrannical and just like what kining the worries of Aristotle ba nga, kung a monarch will become obsessed with his power and ruled with tyranny based on his own self-interest, pwede ba nato i-overthrow si Leviathan? Pwede ba nato i-overthrow ang sovereign authority? The answer of Hobbes is no. Dili siya pwede. Nga naman, because this social contract itself is this reflects our own general will. So if you are against the rulership of the Leviathan, meaning to say you want to go back to the state of nature, nga brutish ka. So kung mo na ang gusto sa Leviathan, all you have to do is to follow the will of the Leviathan. Okay. that's the difference between Locke and Hobbes. Nga naman, because Hobbes argue that government fails to fulfill citizens, they have the right to rebel. They have the right to rebel. Okay, now let's proceed to Locke, John Locke. Okay, so in his work, Two Treatises of Government, proposed a more optimistic view of state of nature. Kung para kang Hobbes is very negative iyahang perspective of the state of nature, for Locke, individuals have natural rights to life, liberty, and property. And the role of government is to protect these rights. Unlike Hobbes, Locke argued that if a government fails to fulfill his role, citizens have the right to rebel. Pwede ra, ba? Because Locke's ideas influenced liberal democracy, particularly in American and French Revolution. So kung no, the government tends to become ineffective, does not represent the love, liberty, and rights of every individual, pwede nila i-overthrow. Pwede sila mag-rebel. And they can select another ruler, just like what we have in our contemporary society. Mapareha sa kuan. Can you think of any scenario of this action that we have the right, not rebel but right to overthrow the existing government and institutions? Okay, and um, this is not right to rebel. Can you still remember the EDSA revolution? But that's the one way how to think about their power to overthrow a particular government. Pwede na to sila i-overthrow, pwede po nato sila siguro i-question on their authority or ilahang certain action of the government, which is immoral and not necessarily legal because sila man ang balaod. Maybe it is immoral mo nang ato siyang i-overthrow. Okay. We have also Jean-Jacques Rousseau. In his work, The Social Contract, Jean-Jacques Rousseau has no formal education, but due to his observation in his community, he also published his work, The Social Contract. He introduced a different approach, no? Arguing that in the state of nature, humans were free and equal. Humans are free and equal. This is now different from Kuan. This is different from kanang Locke and Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes, we are self-interested, we are selfish, brutish, and no, na tendency nga one person will harm other person. For Lockwood, everybody is not equal. The highlight of his Two Treatises of Government is the establishment of property. Why do we need to, how can we establish a particular kanang property ko, no? Sorry, highlight ha. Kung saan to pag-publish certain property, if you're going to exert certain effort, naki-effort, you till the land, you have productivity of particular property, and you produce something out of this property that is considered as that's how we translate ownership. But nowadays we have written contracts like titles, land titles, para makonsider siya nga kining imuhang property. And the role of the government is to protect these rights. That is why we need to have kanang government. But if by the time that they failed to fulfill this role, pwede na to i-overthrow ang government. But for Jean-Jacques Rousseau, over time, they became corrupted by society, kuno, and private property. Kisay nag-corrupt sa ila ha? Unsa ang for Rousseau, unsa ang defect? The defect is the social contract. Ang society mismo ang defective because a society, no, a particular society is influenced relatively through cultural, diverse cultural understanding of what is right and what is wrong, or what we know as the ethical relativism, this is now in conflict with what we call as objectivism. Kinsa ang problem dire? Ang problem is the society. This is not no longer the problem of individual person as different from other, mabuti siya, para sa iyahan, because the very first place, man itself are free and equal. And he has his own understanding of life, liberty, and property. Innate sa iyaha, no? Innate sa individual. In the state of nature, na naki-innate understanding of being good. This is more on a reflection towards Aristotle's concept of good. And what ang nakalain lang is that, yes, it is also considered as true nga imong society will corrupt the individual. As a self-reflection, no? Makita nato sa ato ang society nowadays. Mga young people are kind influenced by mobile games, no longer interested with reading new knowledge, and technology is corrupting individuals, especially using AI as tools for learning. Instead of using it as tools for learning, we exaggerated the use of AI for our own benefit, regardless nga di na ka maka-learn sa imuhang on your lesson, because you have become you have become dependent towards the AI nga mga AI nga mga applications. So unsa pa man, siguro, yeah, drug addiction, that's also true. Drug addiction, we also have societal changes due to Korean novellas and other influences of social media. They also shape our beliefs on ethical beliefs. Basically, diha mo ginato makita through social contract envisioned a direct democracy where individuals collectively decide the laws that governs them, expressing the general will of the people. His ideas about popular sovereignty and equality were foundational to modern democratic thought. However, as you see to it, they are all correct. Sakto man pud si Hobbes, sakto pud si Locke, sakto pud si Rousseau, and we're going to incorporate all of this idea. We now sometimes we can reflect on these ideas nga sakto man pud sila, no? Siguro, I can see also the problem of Rousseau here on his general will, that there is a possibility we can have the general will if this will be empowered by our existing technology. When we talk about general will, this is not just the will of the majority or voted by majority. This means that general will na expressed of every individual is inclusive within individual. When you say inclusive, this is objective, ba? Dili lang kay a particular society we're going to decide what is right and what is wrong. Kundi this is inclusive within is a certain society or certain nation, or going to apply this in a global perspective. This will lead into cosmopolitanism. Yeah, everybody is equal and everybody has a right. And the question is, saan man nato pag encapsulate aning general will? If there is a technology available, who will gather the kanang consent and the consent of every individual? Kung na certain technology, like we going to have to survey, tanan yun ang mag-participate sa survey, unsa man inyong how we going to distribute a particular budget. Kasabay mo, dili vote ba? Kung dili general will, kung unsa imong gusto, mo pud ang gusto sa uban. Okay, so much for that. Let's proceed to 4. Modern political thought. Gikan dito, then now, gikan sa scientific revolution. Now, we leap towards industrialized revolution, where rampant kayo ang industrial capitalism. because of the production, because of the invention of steam engines, discoveries of crude oils, mga fossil fuels. So now, unsa may mga experiences of this philosopher during this time? Um, no, ang ilang the concern of political thought here is about economic challenges. Economic challenges. That's why we have Karl Marx and John Stuart Mill. For Marx, in his work, The Communist Manifesto, critique the exploitation inherent in capitalist system. He argued that history is driven by class struggle and that the the proletariat, should overthrow bour- the the bourgeoisie should overthrow the bourgeoisie or the capitalist system to create classless, remember, classless, stateless society. Kasi gusto ni Marx, everybody should be equal. This refers to his egalitarian concept. Marx's ideas led to the development of socialism and communism, shaping political thought and revolution throughout 20th century. Ngano nga naman iyang nakakita? Unsa day ang what is capitalist system? What is capitalist system? It's been ruled by kapitalista, businessman, and those who are working under capitalists, who are paid with minimum wage, no, has been alienated of their very own nature of their production. Na-alienate sila. Nahimo na lang silang instrument. The proletariat has become now an instrument. Na-alienate sila, imbis tao sila, ang ilang nature as me, as creative, me, as a thinker, a powerful person, innately embedded in me, nahimo na lang kong machine. I have become a machine to produce money for the capitalist. So, for for Marx, we need to overthrow the system of the capitalist and to create a classless society where everybody will enjoy the benefit. No? If we're going to yeah, okay, there's so much discussion about Communist Manifesto. This is just an overview. So I want to finish it as much as possible, earlier I could. So this will serve as the short, brief introduction for Karl Marx. Okay. So yeah, let's proceed to John Stuart Mill, who advanced liberalism by his conception of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism means utility, the greatest good for the greatest number. The utilitarianism refers to the outcome, uh, the outcome of your action should and I forgot the term. I'm going to find that, but that's the concern for utilitarianism and the concern for ethics na issue. Now I want to focus on liberalism. Okay, so John Stuart Mill advanced liberalism by defending individual freedom and the right to self-expression. His work on liberty emphasized the importance of personal autonomy and the needs for society. For a while. Ethics. For a while. Utilitarianism. Okay. Okay. Let me present to you utilitarianism. Okay. So, in his philosophy, si John Stuart Mill is the student of Jeremy Bentham. And Jeremy Bentham is the friend of his father. And according to the literature, that Jeremy Bentham is the founding author of utilitarianism. But according to John Stuart Mill, ang source of this concept should be the concept should be kanang dedicated to his father. Kaya naka-discover ko na sa utilitarian concept is iyang father. Dayon, friend man sila ni Jeremy Bentham. Nakuha daw ni Jeremy Bentham ang idea, and then he created a concept of utilitarianism. But there is a very huge, not very huge, but there are different, they differ based on the principle of utilitarianism ni John Stuart Mill and Jeremy Bentham. But I'm going to look at it. The theory refers to these four concepts. First is consequentialism, that the consequences of such action, ang consequences kuno sa imong action is the basis for the morality of your action. Consequences. If the consequences of your action is good, maayo ang result, then that refers also to your action as result, regardless if it is immoral. Kung immoral imong action to achieve a certain goal, ang consequences will determine the morality of your own action. Example, nangawat ka, and imong gikawat, gihatag nimo sa mga pobre. Nalipay ang mga pobre, na-alleviate sila from poverty. If that is moral, that also mean that the means is moral. Ang imong action to achieve that goal is moral also. If you're going to base it on a just war, if you're going to drop the atomic bomb in Hiroshima in Japan, that will also use a strong reason that despite of killing these millions of Japanese people in Hiroshima, that will also be justified, his action, because the consequences created peace for a lot of people. Consequentialism. B, ethical hedonism. That your action kuno, ang action daw nimo is moral as long as the result is pleasurable. And pleasure refers to happiness. So kung happy ka, pleasurable sa imo ang result, that also mean that the significance towards your action is also considered as moral. And we also have the principle of utility. No, kung action mo leads into the usefulness, to the greatest good, for the greatest number, mo na din na siya, maabot na din sa D. No? Pero sa'yo nakalahi, based on in ethical hedonism, for Jeremy Bentham, para sa iya ha, you can happiness should be observable and tangible. The closer the better. Much higher result means higher happiness. On the other hand, for John Stuart Mill, para siya, no, it should not be the quantity of happiness. It should be the quality of your happiness. And ato ang dapat i-achieve. Dili quantity, bahalag, if the government will give you benefits like free education, and let me have the example of our internet. In order for us to become happy, ang measure of happiness ang kadaghanon, di ba? The greatest good for the greatest number. So ang nahitabo sa ato sa bukso, ang internet nato gidivide sa tanan para ang tanan maka-benefit, ang tanan ma-happy. But because of this greatest number, daghan kayo ang gitagaan lagi, daghan kayo gitagaan og internet, there are few individuals nga mas kailangan unta nila, just like us instructors, for us to develop a quality instruction. It will no longer serve its greater purpose, iyahang utility. That is why for Jeremy Bentham, for John Stuart Mill, para sa iya, dili di ay quantity ang source of ethics, it should be the quality. And ang saan mo to siya pag-assess ang quality? Based on the capabilities. Who should be given the opportunity to have a strong internet? Okay, kana silang individual a more can develop more happiness towards multiple individuals. Now, the question is, should it be quantity or quality? Kung saan na to pag-divide sa atong internet? Should be equality sa tanan or we should divide it based on the quality. So, mo po na no atong tanawon. The consequences of your action kuno should based on the quality, should based on the hedonism means pleasure. So the pleasure should be based on the quality of pleasure. Ang utility based gyapon just sa quality. That's for John Stuart Mill. That's also the reason, no, why he conceptualized on the kanang on liberty. It should be personal autonomy, naka-base siya sa individual person and the need for society to protect minority opinions against tyranny of majority. I hope you understood my point here. Okay, let's proceed now to here. So that's also the reason why roles contemplated on or rebutted utilitarian principles of Mill and Bentham. He's a critique of utilitarianism. Tanong siya nga, dili man nato ma-achieve ang goal. If we're going to base it on the greatest benefit of the greatest, if we're going always to consider the greater good of the society. Because we tend to be unfair to minority, no? If this is the case, nga decisions of the government will drop the bomb to Hiroshima and their sacrifices will be used as the justification for the greatest number. It bypasses his concept of individual autonomy and what he called as the equal liberty. That's one. This is the reason why he is against utilitarian principle of John Stuart Mill. Ano man? Because in utilitarianism, no, if they consider this action as useful towards the majority, regardless of sacrifice na minority, justified ilang action. But for roles in this theory of justice, everybody is considered equal. So, sir, abi na ko, equality is not good, ba? Okay, individual people has different needs. May lahi man tag needs, yes. And that is also true that everybody is not equal, unequal lang tanan in terms of our needs. But in terms of our rights and equality, based on no, hypothetically, everybody is not equal. Okay, you are born with rich parent, others are born with poor parents, and you are born with opportunities to go to school. Ang uban are born in Bukid and they don't have access towards proper education and proper healthcare facilities. So we are all unequal. But there should also be a consideration that despite of these unequal opportunities, you are born lucky and others are not. Each person should have an equal right to the most extensive basic liberties compatible with similar liberties for others. Unsa man isa, access toward basic liberties, basic subsistence. Tanan daw ko no, we should be all equal in terms of our needs. Equal ta sa atong rights, equal ta sa subsistence, and equal ta sa ato ang to participate in political community. But the question is, allowed ba i-sacrifice? Allowed ba ang unequal ato ang distributive principle? Is it allowed na unequal? Yes. It is allowed as long as an equality, no, this inequality will be used for the benefit of the least advantaged. Remember, least advantage. That's the highlight here. We have two principles, no, sa theory of justice. We need to consider two principles. First is everybody is equal in terms of rights. Number two is inequalities is justified or considered as long as this will be used for the benefit of the least advantage. One, dapat equal. Inequality is acceptable as long as this is for the least advantage members of the society para sa ilahang benefit. So, meaning to say, if a certain society, if a certain group of sitio or barangay sa inyong community, kitagaan sila mas dako nga budget for training, seminars, no, no, that is acceptable if that training and seminar will benefit those people living in remote areas. Question ta usay ni question ta. Ngano dako man kay budget ning si Sumpong, no? Ngano dako man kay budget sa ilahang mga road construction, access to kanang ngano gwapo man kay mga dalan, sementado, gibatan na pud og bag-ong bridge. Ang bukso ngano gwapo man kay mga facilities, whereas kung i-compare nato sa to mga government hospitals, bati man kayo sila og facilities, bati kayo mga CR. This inequalities of benefit is acceptable daw, as long as this will be used, these projects will be used for the least advantaged members. Okay, I think we're almost done. Rawls work reinvigorated discussions on distributive justice, influencing policies aimed at reducing inequality, promoting fairness in liberal democracy. This is now what we call as the principle of fairness. Fairness as a theory of justice. This is what we call as fairness. We're going to discuss Rawls in our final term. So, kinis lang ang mga philosophers will be discussed simultaneously and progressively based on our lesson. So, this is just a half of our lesson. So, we're going to have another discussion for the evolution of political thought as a response to changing realities. So, this will be your reading assignment. So, for the meantime, I want you to answer the review question, this one, diba? I ask you to print this one, so you're going to answer this question 1, 2, 3. And lastly, you have our lesson activity. You answer the Venn diagram, the similarities and differences of particular philosophers. And you reflect and discuss, and you answer these questions. Dayon, you read this one, and about these questions at the end of our lesson, review questions. How has these are just the review questions for you to review our lessons, because next meeting we're going to have another set of activity based on the discussed lesson. Okay, so let me end my presentation, and congratulations for finishing the half of our finishing the midterm discussion. And for our final exam, for our midterm exam, no midterm exam, but I'll be giving you set of requirements. So good luck everyone, and have a good weekend. Bye.